Mr. S. Prakash, a.k.a. the corporate sage. He brings in nearly 4 decades of entrepreneurial and leadership expertise. He has built several ingenious consulting and coaching frameworks. He has helped transform the future of MSMEs, mid-cap and large enterprises. He works with several NGOs and government bodies for nation building. He is an author of 13 books, including the latest, The Spiritual CEO, a top 5 bestseller and an Amazon original. I now invite Mr. Prakash, founder and CEO SEE Change, to give welcome address on the significance of the International MSME Day.
Ladies and gentlemen, who is this MSME? Why celebrate an international day to commemorate the MSMEs actually? For us to understand this, we might have to take a journey down memory lane 200 years ago. Somewhere in the 1820s, the then British government had commissioned a person called Thomas Macaulay. He was sent with the sole purpose of finding what stops Britishers from ruling India firmly. How did this race manage the Mughal invasion? What is to be done? One thing that he found out was that the entire backbone of India then, the Bharat, was made of people who were very strong entrepreneurs. People who knew how to stand on their feet. People who had the courage to face adversities, do businesses. The so-called Silk Route, the other route known as the Chola route, not well known, which took India from India to Far East. All these were conquered on the business front by the then Indians. He found out that what gave them the courage was their ability to stand on their own legs and the then prevailing Gurukul education system. After 10-15 years of study, he had then proposed the introduction of the English style of education, which will literally break the self-esteem of the people and start looking out for jobs. Over a period of time, they really succeeded in doing that. By the beginning of 20th century, entrepreneurship was a dead word in India. It was reserved for people who could manipulate the license Raj and get through. If you really connect back what we are today, the MSMEs have done something of reinventing what we were 200 years back and given that courage to face adversities even in situations that normally people would buckle and fall down. The easy option for youngsters today, even then, was to seek a job, go to school, get a good degree, surrender yourself at the feet of a boss. The slave mentality had set in over a period of 170 years. Enter MSME ecosystem about 3-4 decades ago. It gave wings to the dreams of people who wanted to be self-reliant. Even it was just at 1/10 of the money that they were earning. Proudly we can say that I am an MSME and many of you here are MSMEs too. We brought back that self-belief and the courage that was essential for any country to actually stand on its own leg, just not stand on its own leg but take flight and grow. This is exactly the first point which really made what MSMEs today. They really brought back the belief into the education system. They brought back the confidence that I can do something worthwhile in this life. I can stand on my own legs. I can give employment to people. This is one of the fundamental reasons I would say that MSMEs and their journey at least has to be recognized and celebrated. Point number 2, if you look at the Adanis, the Birlas, the Ambanis, or Tatas, or anyone for that matter, any of the unicorns that have come today to what they are, once upon a time, they were MSME by definition. They did something unthinkable what many MSMEs were not able to do because of several reasons, and they took wings to become what they are today. For every human being that is born, we all know that there is a fight of 2 crore sperms out of which one wins. Like that, MSMEs have to fight, and in that ecosystem they have to thrive and grow. And the big industries today, once upon a time, were actually MSMEs. If you look at the vision that the Prime Minister of India, Modi, set in 2019 of converting India into a $5 trillion economy by 2022 originally, which now has been set back to 2025 because of the pandemic effect. One of the visions that he had created as part of that was to create at least about 1,000 unicorns, which would sort of ensure that we move toward the $5 trillion economy. And that is possible only if we allow the MSMEs to thrive and grow. That is something that the government is doing seriously. And we also have to do a part from our side in terms of encouraging them, in terms of recognizing them. After all, they fight for survival, they fight for growth 364 days a year. Why not one day in the calendar where these people can be celebrated and acknowledged? That's why I think 3-4 years back it was proposed and had been brought in as the International MSME Day. When you look at a person, when you call the person as beautiful or handsome, what makes you think is their eyes, maybe the skin color, the kind of face that they have, the kind of dress that they wear. But for every face which is out there, for every beautiful lady or a handsome man, there is something called as a backbone. It is said that the spinal cord is what puts all the organs together. Without that, the system would collapse. MSMEs do that exactly to what the Indian industry is. The unsung heroes. The role of the spine is understood only in its absence. In less than a second, doctors here would know that the entire system would collapse. This is exactly what they bring to the table. If you really look at the statistics which some of the subsequent speakers would reel out, there are two significant statistics which I thought I would share in terms of what MSMEs contribute to what we are today. 30% of the GDP is contributed. 6.3 crore MSMEs are there. More than 11 million jobs generated. More than anything else, they have contributed, continue to contribute close to 49% to the export of what India is today. Many of them, if you look at the cellular structure of the body, there are 7 trillion cells, they say, which makes up the total body. Individually, a cell by itself has no value. Likewise, it might look that a person who is churning out that hard work, doing that lathe work or any of the small jobs that they do, looks to be a very micro activity, and that's how maybe the name came as MSME. If they don't come together to create what ecosystem they have created, the bigger economies that they feed, the industrialists, the big exporters, none of that would exist. It is said that not even one single component today in India that is being made, not even one single service that is being dished out in India can survive without the active support of MSMEs. The MSMEs may not know it, they might know it, but it's a time that we look back, give them credit for what they are, and ensure that they are rewarded for the work that they do and for the great role that they play in the growth of not just the economy, but India itself. Would we need any other reason for us to know why International MSME Day under recognition? I raise my case. Thank you.